All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Black and Gold. This is HiBruiNation. I'm Goosey, joined by the Chavo. Whitey took off for the night, but he will be back next week. We promise you this, for those of you who come just to see him. We're the unofficial home of your Boston Bruins. We got some sad news tonight before we get started. Ken Dryden, former Boston Bruin draft pick and former Montreal Canadian, had sadly passed away after a long battle of cancer. Our thoughts go out with him. Out with his family as they traverse this very difficult time. Wow, what a sad open, right? But seriously, he was a great, phenomenal player. Great goaltender. His accolades speak for himself, for themselves, I should say. But wow, on to better, and I shouldn't say better, but onto brighter things this week. Hockey is officially back. Bruins captain's practice started, I believe, this past Wednesday. We had some notable absences on day one, but as the days progressed, so did player arrivals. But that's good news, right, guys? Hockey is back. We are back, baby, Steve. We are back. How are we?
Good. I'm good. I'm glad time's ticking away to the beginning of the season. Looking forward to just seeing what this team is capable of, preseason and all that stuff. But excited to start watching some hockey back on TV.
It's crazy. Preseason starts on September 21st, but we got a couple things before that. We have training camp. We have, I believe, the Prospects Challenge, and it's all coming up very, very soon. So just a lot of hockey, a lot of things to be excited about. It outside of this season, but college hockey is going to start shortly thereafter. We can watch the Bruins prospects, a whole bunch of other things, and we can also see what as we go through these little camps and these little activities that the Bruins the NHL will host tonight. And I'm sure Steve, you're as excited as I am. We're actually going to talk about our favorite Bruins jersey of all time. We did some polls out on our HiBruiNation Twitter, and we're going to talk about those. So you, the fans, got to decide, on the point totals for each and every single one of the players in the form of ranges of which that you would expect them to score. The offense was pretty interesting. Or pretty good. I think, Steve, you and I will agree on most of it, but the defense was interesting when we pull those up, and we'll get to that. We'll talk a little bit about the Bruins captain's practices and the amazing Bruins Fan Fest. It was a 3-day event. It was held from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of September 5th to September 7th, where you got to go and kind of celebrate the new season and just hang out with some cool, like-minded Bruins fans. I myself was in attendance, and I believe I was the only one because Steve is a bum and lives out in Chicago.
Yep. I would have went if I could, but I mean, honestly, it's just another thing for us to pay for and go to and do all that stuff. It's just, I'm not thrilled about the reason. It's good. I'm glad it's free, but the beer isn't free. Okay,
they got to charge us. They sell beer there.
I think they do.
I genuinely didn't see beer there. I don't know if they sell beer there. They sell water and Coke for sure.
Yeah,
Coke you can drink, not the Coke you snort. Say that again.
$4 a pop for a water.
It was. It was kind of disgusting. Yeah, how much it was for what it was. Also hot, dude. There really wasn't much shade. I mean, the one I went to was Fitchburg State, so it was at their arena. So they had the hockey team out there. It was pretty cool. Rick Middleton was there. It was pretty awesome. Got to shake his hand and talk to him a bit. So I was with Kara, right at this Fan Fest, and she pointed out that some guy was like hanging out with a police officer. And she goes, "Cameron, I think that's a player." And I'm like staring the guy down. Like, thank God I had sunglasses on because this guy probably thought I would have been super duper weird, right? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think he didn't look like any player I knew. He looked a little bit like Matty Poitras. The way I saw, like the way his hair was and things like that. I was like, no, I don't think that's a player. Maybe he just knows the cop. So we eventually left because they just made some announcements. It was like 12:30 when we left or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay. So players probably aren't coming. The thing was only from 11 to 2. And when I'm home and I see the notification on Twitter, and when you freaking know it, Steve, that was a player. It was Michael Asimon. She pointed out Michael Asimon, and I completely blanked out. Like, shit. I walked up and talked to. So him and Fraser Minton were at Fan Fest on Saturday in Fitchburg, and Marco Sturm visited in Hanover, Mass on Friday, and I don't know exactly who was there on Sunday to represent the Bruins. So,
That's cool. I mean, I think it's more worth it to go meet the old timers that are showing up, right? Like, you know that there's bound to be a couple old timers show up and take pictures and all that good stuff. And this team, as we've been discussing it, but I'd be more thrilled to meet the old timers that have their number retired and all that good stuff. So I mean, it's all in all, it should have been a good experience. No,
I had a blast. Meeting Rick. I had met him before, but I'm not on a first name basis with Nifty at all by any stretch of the imagination. So my former landscaper was or currently is on the board of directors for the Lynn Swampscott Boys and Girls Club. So he actually got to partake in the Bruins alumni games. So through Steve, I actually got to meet Andy Brickley, Rick Middleton, and a couple other old timers because he was also the president. Rick Middleton was the president of the Bruins alumni. He has since retired, but he definitely remembered my landscaper. It was very funny, but it was pretty awesome. He was taking pictures with the Norris Trophy, which is weird because he was an offensive player, right? He kind of called it out.
You got to think about it though. They're probably showing off all these different trophies at different locations at different times, right? It's just what it was available. So I mean, it is what it is. I just, I wouldn't read too much into it. It's there.
No, he was super nice. It was actually funny because we were some of the first people to actually notice that was him. Like some people were walking by and were giving a glance, and I kind of stopped. And I was like, I'm 95% sure that is Rick Middleton. And then he turned, so he was actually wearing a custom Bruins jersey, and he turned around and had Middleton 16. I'm just like, okay, well, some guy's going up and taking a picture with him. So I think that is Rick Middleton. And then after that, the line really started to form. And people started really noticing that was him. Super nice guy, awesome, very chill. Made note that he was taking a picture with the Norris Trophy and not the Lady Bing. And so he was just a pleasure.
Yeah,
to be around.
No, that's awesome though. Like, how often do you get to how often do you get to see a Norris Trophy in person? Two, how often do you get to meet a Bruins all-time great? Right, like two good things right there.
Well, they brought the Vezina, they brought the Selke, and of course they brought the Norris. And I didn't realize how big the trophies actually were until you actually see them, and they're really interesting and they're really cool. And I looked at the Selke and I was like, can I if you could find Bergeron's name on there, but they have quite a few people, because obviously their nameplates can go on for a long time. And, it's not like the Stanley Cup where the rings get filled up pretty quickly, I would say, because of all those names. But I saw Char's name on the Norris. I saw Tim Thomas. I saw Tuukka Rask on the Vezina, and I saw Patrice Bergeron's six placards. So it was really cool just to see. The people there that were with the trophies were a little kind of iffy with letting people kind of touch them. If they did, you had to be very gentle, but they definitely weren't letting anybody pick them up.
Just a little stitches.
Yeah, not superstitious. Just a little stitches. But no, dude, it's great. I love I don't know if you've ever been. Have you ever been to a Bruins Fan Fest? I think they started doing them recently.
No, I have not.
I don't know if any other NHL team does them, but I think it's one of the greatest things that the Boston Bruins
Chicago does. I'm pretty sure.
Excellent.
Yeah. I think they do that. I think correct me if I'm wrong, does Montreal do that too? Is it an original six type deal?
Rick would be able to answer for that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I could be wrong, but I don't remember any.
All right.
I'm sure other teams do some iteration of this.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing to kind of go and you see a whole bunch of people and like they have like little mini sticks that you can play. This year they had a workout combine, so you had to do as many sit-ups. Excuse me, sorry, I had a little hiccup there. You had to do as many sit-ups as you could, as many push-ups as you could. I can't remember the other ones, but there was also like a long jump that you had to do, and if you passed all of that, you just got like a free puck. And they give the free puck to everybody, but they incentivize you with that.
Another participation trophy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was fun, dude. Like Kara was like, "Oh, dude, Cam, like go do push-ups." I'm like, "No, because gravity works against my fat butt." So it's but it was cool, man. Like they had that. They had a slap shot meter, so like you could actually take a slap shot with a hockey ball and it records your speed. You get 3 shots with it, so it's pretty cool. If you're a kid, you could dress up as a goaltender and like have pucks shot at you, which I don't know why they would ever agree to that. But they also have like this. Yeah, they had this inflatable one-on-one little mini rink that you can play with. It's just an all-around good thing. Like Boston Fleet was there.
Really?
Yeah, it was great. You could buy some merch there, like used sticks, used helmets,
jerseys. Like not obviously not like game worn jerseys, but like did they have like a jersey vendor there?
They did, but I think they were blank jerseys, so I don't think you could buy a. Okay. I don't know. I have way too many jerseys, so I wasn't inquiring about that. Like I'm obviously wearing like their Centennial one right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you could definitely buy a jersey. I just don't know whether or not you could get a player specific one. Probably either you probably could either a Pastrnak or Swayman would be my best guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. The hats were nice. Yeah, it was nice. Actually, fun fact or interesting thing. So they make braided bracelets, or I'm sorry, not braided bracelets off of old players' hockey skates laces. Did you know that?
No. I mean, I figured you could, but I just didn't know that the Bruins were selling that. Shout out to the Jacob family.
Yeah, well, I admittedly, like honestly, it was $125 for a bracelet. But you got to pick like which players' skates they were. I'm like, okay, yeah, but like, I'm sorry, like that's $125 just for laces. Those are $10 at the store.
Here, I got one for you. I'll go to the store, get it for $10, have Marissa braid it for you, and then you can get my number down there, and then you can say it's mine, and I'll give it to you for $20. I'll make $10 profit. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I feel like it's a scam. It's just a money grab. It's just a money grab. Like, come on,
that was for sure.
But like, it's not like
game worn.
The game worn, sure, but like it's hockey laces. You know how many hockey laces I've gone through? I mean, they snap so easily. It's just hockey laces, right? Like it's not like a game worn, gloves or game worn helmet or a game used stick, right? Like the stick, $125, sure, if it's autographed, you know what I mean?
That's how much you think they were charging. How much do you? All right, genuine question. For a Jonas Korpisalo, okay, I'm sorry, that's a goalie stick. That's not there. For a Pavel Zacha stick, take a guess.
$350 to $500.
Okay, you know what? That you actually overball that. It was $250.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is it autographed at least?
No, just their stick. It is just the stick. No autograph. Man.
That's why I don't buy that merch, right? Like the best piece of merch I have is a game used Winter Classic 2010 puck signed by Zdeno Chara.
Nice.
Like, you know what I mean? That's what I got. That's and then I think the other one would be another poster of Adam Vinatieri kicking the game-winning Super Bowl kick for the first Super Bowl for the Pats, right? Like, we got pictures. There's other things like that, but merch, Give me a jersey, give me a hat. I'm happy. I don't need much,
Do you genuinely know so $250 is just the price of a stick?
Yep. Well, nowadays,
So
right?
yeah.
I went to the hockey store the other day. They were charging $400 for the new Bauer sticks. I'm like, and the guy was telling me, he goes, these things break super easy. After 2 weeks, this thing's going to snap in half. Good luck to all the parents that, are going to buy their kids a $400 stick, and then it's going to break after a month of use. Yeah. Like, good luck.
Just go to Play It Again Sports and get a $20 wooden stick that'll splinter into the kid's eye. Like, honestly, whatever. It's only an eye. You don't really need it.
Or just grab a $200 stick. That's good. That's good enough, and it's not going to break, and it's known for not breaking. You know what I mean? Like, you'll get a couple seasons out of it, right? Like, make it economical. It's just
I agree. There was one time I did buy like a game used stick, and I think it was Jimmy Hayes. It was Jimmy Hayes' stick. I bought his. I do not. I actually gave it away. And it was before he had sadly passed, but that was like $150. Like, you know what I mean? But I was like, oh, it's cool. It's Jimmy Hayes' stick. He's a hometown kid. Like, I'd love to have that. But now, like, being where I am, I'm like, I can't see spending $250. Pasternak and McAvoy sticks were $800 a piece. No autograph.
Pass.
Yeah.
When I was
and
a
all
kid,
you're gonna guarantee.
When I was a kid, I had the 1973-74 Montreal Canadiens sign the one stick signed by the whole team. What do you think that'd be worth today? I played street hockey with it.
Oh my God, Rick! Oh,
can you imagine?
Yeah.
Not a word of a lie.
Hey, I'm the proud owner of a Providence Bruins team signed stick. Oh, you could probably get a couple $100 for that, but I'm not selling it.
Depending, right? You hold on to that for a couple of years, see who makes it, who doesn't make it. If they got you got 3 or 4, 5 guys.
I'm really banking on Lysell, baby.
I'm
really banking on him. His signature's on there.
At least he has a shot. He can get traded or something like that, and
maybe.
And then another team will actually use him properly. Except he plays for the Bruins, and Don Sweeney doesn't believe in younger guys, and it is what it is.
Well, you know what's funny about that stick before we move on to the next topic and move away from FanFest is that they signed a Curtis Hall stick. Curtis Hall was not on the team when that stick was signed. So I don't know. Like it's crazy. So no love lost, I guess. But it's fine. It's still a cool piece to have. I love having it. Like it's cool.
It's cool stuff. Why not? Right? I mean, something. But you know what? I would pay $200 for $350 for $350 or $500 for. You know those broken sticks, the Adirondack chairs that people make out of that.
Yeah.
I'd buy one of those, dude. I'd buy one of those. Just sit on the lawn with that. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know with the composite sticks now. Maybe the old wooden ones, sure, but I don't know about the composite ones now, man. Like, I would need a couple of those.
There's a couple wooden sheer woods in there. Don't worry about it.
Hopefully, dude. Like, honestly, because imagine if your fat ass is sitting on a 57 flex stick. I don't know, buddy.
Structural support, I don't know.
Yeah. Structural support. Your ass is gonna go right through that bench. So would mine included. But no,
a lot of them use goalie sticks though, so they're a little bit thicker.
Yeah, because they're thick.
Yeah,
they're thicker.
They're thicker.
They'll probably use that as the base.
That's a little bit better. No flex at all. Just stop pucks.
Right. No, but ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't had the pleasure of going to one of these Bruins Fan Fest, when you're honestly, pay attention to those emails and when they go out or anything like that, because it's truly a wonderful experience. You just get to have a little bit of fun. The event goes on for about 4 hours ish, but it's so fun. You're only really there for an hour and a half, but if you time it right, you can meet some players, you can see some cool stuff, and it's just honestly a wonderful thing that I think the Bruins organization does right. One of the very few things outside of the raising ticket prices, but that's besides the point. Moving on to some hockey.
Hopefully, speaking of raising ticket prices, hopefully if they do bad this season, those things will come down a little bit.
Yeah, right. Please,
we'll
not
see.
With that family. Guys, let's talk about some hockey. Steve, let's talk about some hockey, right?
Let's talk about hockey.
let's talk some hockey. Bruins captain's practice. Day one was, as you would kind of expect, there were some notable missing individuals, but obviously as people start returning to Boston and making their way back, you start to see the attendance go up, right?
Naturally.
And the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because this is going to be tangential to the captain's practice, this side piece that I wanted to ask, and even the fans itself, like who's going to wear that third A. The notable absences for day one were on the defensive side, Mason Lohrei, Hampus Lindholm. On the forward side, Elias Lindholm, Casey Middlestat, Matt Dupatra, Fabian Lysell, Mark Kostelic, and Sean Corrali. The reason why I think it's day one. It's okay. And I understand, like, actually, as days progressed, that more of those players actually showed up. I actually expected 2 out of those players to be in the running for the third alternate. And I was surprised that they weren't there on day one. Both the Lindholms, either Elias or Hampus. I could see Elias. I could see Hampus more. But the Bruins seem that they are going to run with 3 alternates this season. 3.
You think so?
Look, if you listen to some of the post captain's practice, like interviews that they've been talking with them, and you kind of get an idea of like, okay, all their heads seem to be in the right spot. Swayman said that he's a different individual than he was last year. He thinks he's a better Swayman than he was last year, probably because he actually stepped on the ice for captain's practice with a contract. I don't really fault him for that as much as I also blame his agent. But you also look at McAvoy and his commitment to leadership by committee. I do have some issues with leaderships by committee a bit, because you can't have too many chiefs in the room.
Yep.
And even Pasternak's words too. I think he will also it's very obvious that they want to win. Zadorov's words saying that we're a tight knit group. What they're all saying is they're all giving off leadership vibes and that they're building off of each other.
I don't believe Zadorov's words on that quote. We're a tight knit group after him calling out Swayman last year and all the bullshit of last season. And, clearly there was something wrong in that locker room, and there was definitely not a meshing of minds. What are we going to do? Force them to lock them into a locker room and force out, hash out all their stuff, right? I don't know if you can do that
in the fraternity.
But because we didn't get paid, we volunteered for that. They're getting paid millions of dollars to do this, and sometimes money talks. Actually, most times. That's the thing. It's for me, I don't believe they're a tight-knit group. I don't think that this team, Zadorov's words were, a lot of people are dogging him this year, and not putting I can't remember the full quote, but something about not respecting who, what this team has on it and all these things. And it's like, sure, I feel that way too, but you haven't shown me anything yet. And how could you, right? It's not even beginning of the season or preseason or anything like that. But I guess put your money where your mouth is and show us that you're going to perform this year and not look like dog shit up there like you did last year.
Yeah, those were quotes from last year, but I think this year you definitely get a better sense. It's a new head coach at the helm too, and they all spoke very highly of Marco, and they've all basically said he wants to build something here. You basically get the vibe that they're already starting to respect him, as a coach. And so I like that idea. The only thing that concerns me, and as I said, is that leadership by committee. What does that committee look like to you? What does McAvoy necessarily mean? Does that mean, anybody can kind of have a say? And if you remember, when David Backes came on, he spoke about there's definitely leaders, but then there can also be unspoken leaders. And where does that line, where's that line drawn? You know what I mean? That's a big concern for me. And because you don't want a guy maybe like Tanner Jeannot. Again, I rag on this guy. I don't mean to, but like, or Michael Asimont or like or I don't know, Victor Arvidsson to be like the speaking leaders, right? Like I believe Tanner Jeannot could be an unspoken leader. It's like who takes upon what there.
Well, and it goes to one of my favorite things, life lessons learned the hard way, right? It's just because you don't have a C or an A doesn't mean you can't lead by example. If you go out there and dog it all night and just, play a bad game, nobody's going to respect you and you're not leading by example. But if you go out there and you bust your balls and you go 110, 120, people see that in the room where it's like this guy's out there, fighting for it. He wants it. He's hungry for it. That can go a long way too. It's just, I personally don't think that the Bruins are going to have 3 alternate captains. I think it's going to be 2 A's. I think it's just going to be McAvoy, and I think it's just going to be Pasta. And I don't necessarily know if the next captain is on the Bruins right now. I would definitely like to see Pasta put the C on, but I don't think he wants that responsibility. But I don't see anybody on this team that can go talk to the refs and go try to question things, right? Like, I don't see it. And I think it's actually a good idea that they don't put anyone with the C this year. I think, time will tell with this group who's worth it to put the C on and have them locked down for a while, right? Like, you need to figure out some shit first. And I think there's a lot of question marks up in the air with this team as a whole. And I think the front office and the coaching staff know that.
I actually agree. I sat and I thought about it for quite some time. And do I honestly believe that the next captain of the Bruins is on the team? I'm leaning towards maybe. It's what you put into perspective too. Like, it's the added responsibilities that come with being a captain. Like, there's a lot more things that you need to command, and I don't think Pastrnak. I don't think that's his personality. I don't think that is who you want Pastrnak to be in the locker room. Yep. I think you want him to be an alternate captain and be that kind of motivation by example, and be like the good cop to somebody's bad cop. I don't think when you listen to his interviews, right, and especially when they played out in Lake Tahoe, when he just goes, "Yo, you guys made me miss Barbie Girl, so now there's that," and then the Zamboni, like. And, when he played in the All-Star game, when he's talking to the refs, he goes, "Oh, I can talk to you. I have the C. See, I can talk to you." Like, I agree with you that I don't think it should be Pastrnak. And not saying he can't do it. He probably could. But do I want him to? No, I want him to be who he is, because I think who he currently is the best he needs to be for Boston. Now, could McAvoy do it? I think he's a little bit more serious in that regard. I think he's a little bit more black and white than Pastrnak is, but also I need to see a little bit more gray area in McAvoy. Yeah. I didn't like his comments last year with Montgomery's firing. It left a sour taste in my mouth. It's like, okay, I don't know. Yes, Monty was on his way out, but also if you're going to be a leader, you need to take some accountability. And the difference between what McAvoy said versus what Marchand and Pastrnak said were like leagues in my opinion, different. So maybe you're right. Maybe the Bruins don't have the next captain on the team yet.
Well, and to your point, it's like, even if Pasta does get a C, right? Does that change how he plays? Does that change how his attitude is, right? Like, do you want him just to go out there and put up a 100-point season year after year, or 100 plus, excuse me? Or do you want him to put up 80 points and have to add the extra weight of leadership, right? I think he's in the sweet spot where he has the A and he's a voice in the locker room where he can say things, but he's proven that he can lead by example, right? Who else on that team did what he did last year, right? Like, Pasta still put up a 100-point plus season on a shitty team, right? Like, you want that guy to focus on playing and not have extra stressors of leadership, right? can he be involved in these things? Sure, absolutely. He's rocking an A. You know what I mean? It's there. He has it. But I think, to your point about good cop, bad cop, he's definitely the good cop because he to me, he seems like a vibes guy where it's like he wants to make sure everybody's good. He wants to make sure everybody's ready to go and getting people ready to go, as opposed to, hey, you're not playing the way you're supposed to be playing. What the fuck? Right? It's one of those, it's the two different sides of the coin.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's two different ways of motivation too, right? If you think about it, like, one is like, hey, are you good? We're ready to go, and the other one's just more of like one's supporting it, but the other one's commanding it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like, if you're in the military, your drill sergeant's like commanding you to do something, but your comrade or your colleague right next to you or the soldier right next to you is the one picking you up and dragging you with you, right? Like, that's the difference, I think, between a captain and an alternate. The alternate's the person by your side picking you up along the side. I mean, the captain is also supposed to do that as well. Like, if you're playing down, they're supposed to lift you up too. But I feel like they set the standard and the other people help facilitate that standard. So you're right. I don't know. I don't know what I see. I haven't really been able to go to the captain's practices and see what's going on. I've just kept looked at glimpses. A lot of the players look good. A lot of things look like they feel right. I like what I'm hearing. I actually listened to an interview from Fabian Lysell. I really liked what he had to say, with respect to his game. He said, the summer before this one, it was about getting bigger, getting stronger. And I believe Poitras said the same thing. It was about getting bigger, getting stronger on the puck. And now they're saying, like, now it's working on on their game style, on their play style, right? It's like working about being more intelligent with the puck, making better plays, making yourself available. So in terms of like Poitras and Lysell, I really like what those two had to say about their development. Now it's just whether or not the team wants to get them there and do that. So I think training camp and preseason is going to be the big teller for that one.
The team definitely needs to give people a shot, especially if you've been putting all this development into these guys, right? Like these guys can only do so much with the development and like the transition from, hey, you need to get bigger, you need to get stronger, because you're not going to make it in this league unless you get some size. Like we talked about this with the Connor Bedard, right? How he's a very small guy and he's putting on some size, as opposed to, now these guys have put on some size, and now it's, hey, let's focus on that hockey IQ. Let's get these guys in, the video room. Let's show them some stuff. Let's expand their knowledge on these things so they can become better hockey players and get open.
What do they call that? What do they call that, Steve?
It's all about development, but it's different forms of development.
Right. But what's that? That's called coaching, right?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
It's not something that the team is. Yeah, I would say so. Coach him. Coach your talent. If the raw talent is there and the skating ability is there, the guy can always put on muscle. You can always do something physically with him.
Yep.
But teaching him the way that you want, like if you're gonna put him into a system and you're gonna change that skill set a bit, you need to coach him. It's not that he might not be ready for the NHL. Lysell could probably be a third or fourth liner on any other team. Maybe.
I think he'd be a third liner. I think Poitras would be a third liner on any other team.
Yeah. So coach them. Give them the opportunity.
Yep.
Don't just bench them after they make one single mistake. They're only 22 and 20. Well, Poitras 20, 21, but Lysell's only 23. And I think that's where they went wrong with him. But I'm excited to see it. I like their mentality. They believe in themselves, and I think that's going to be critical. They're going to have one hell of a hill to climb, trying to beat out, I think, Asimont and Corrali and Kostelic. I mean, they're fourth liners, but they are NHLers.
Yeah.
You're realistically trying to fight them for a third line spot. Yep. And you're not going to see them bench Tanner Jeannot. That's way too much money. No. So you're really fighting with the competition is between Frazier, Poitras, and Lysell. And so maybe they rotate those three in and out of the lineup. Lysell's not a center. He's a winger. So a lot of decisions are going to need to be made. And honestly, I hope that they take exception to that challenge. I hope maybe once in a while they outplay Sean Corrali or Michael Eyssimont. I don't think that's necessarily unreasonable for them to be able to do that. I think they're third line players.
I agree. I think they're third line players, but I think Don Sweeney has screwed up this whole roster with what we have, as quote unquote prospects to, what we've signed, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not Don Sweeney. I don't know what's going on in his mind. Is he trying to, build these guys up to trade them away to quote unquote rebuild? Or, I mean, why do that when you can probably get them at a discount to extend them? And you've already put how much time and effort into developing these guys into the Bruins system, where all they need is a roster spot, and you just put them out there and let them go and do what they need to do, right? It's just mind-boggling to me. Where it's just you get these guys, you draft them, they're NHLers, I think, at this point in their career, and you're not going to play them, you're not going to do it.
I think Patra and Minton's highest ceiling is that they could play on the second line. Like I think you could develop Patra to actually play the second line. I really do. I think his hockey IQ is there. I think his size isn't there, but I actually genuinely think Patra could play the second line. It's just he's only 20.
You cut it. If he's a second liner at the end of the day, he's top 6.
Yep.
And what are the teams that are trying to compete for a championship, right? Even if he's not a top 6 and he's a top 9, right? The teams that win the cup have 4 lines that work. Yep. You can get deep into the playoffs with,
or they just abuse the LTIR system, but that's no longer going to be a thing.
I mean, for sure, but I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you cut it. All these NHL Cup winning teams have 3 solid lines and 1 usable line to give the top 3 lines a break out there, or just go shut down and beat things and bodies, right? No matter how you cut it up, you need 4 lines to win a cup.
Yep. We've gone through this extensively too. Like, with what we think our predictions for the lineup is going to look like. And I mean, now the captain's practices, this is, again, ladies and gentlemen, this is just going off of like what our vibes are from what these players are saying after the captain's practices. And I like it. I like what everyone's saying. I don't hate it. The only thing I actually hated was McAvoy saying leadership by committee, because he didn't elaborate on that. Like, what do you mean? Like, can you elaborate like how what that leadership structure looks like? Because I do find that concerning when you have too many cooks in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Because then, your meal doesn't come out tasting great. So that's just the one thing I
got a question too. Out of all those guys that missed the captain's practice, right? How many of those guys were new guys that just came to the team over the summer?
Only Corrali, but technically, I guess not Corrali. Like, you could argue that like Corrali returned.
Yeah, but he wasn't living in Boston already. Like, he didn't have a place to stay already. Like, I'm sure with these guys, getting, signing these contracts, they're gonna have to sell their house or get rid of their lease or whatever the hell it is, and find new leases or find new houses, whatever it is, right? Like, all that personal shit, that comes behind, being close enough to the Boston Bruins training facility and all that.
Well, supposedly something was up with Hampus. Like, Hampus actually had an excuse. There was something hockey related that he was finishing up and that he couldn't make it. Like, listen, captain's practices, like, it's not abnormal for players to miss the first captain's practice and them to funnel in afterwards. I'm not saying that's abnormal. It would be abnormal if they weren't there for training camp. I would find that very concerning. Like, if Hampus, Lindholm, and barring injury too, like if Lowry in both the Lindholms, Middlestat, Patra, Lysell, Kostelik, and Corrali were all not there for day 1 of training camp, I would be concerned, because that means now you're just taking your sweet fucking time. You're now in the middle of September and you're not there. That to me is unacceptable. But for captain's practices, I just found it a little strange that, like, 2 people that I would consider for wearing the third A were just not present. So to me, it brings to your point that maybe they only do run the 2. Who knows? Or maybe they run with Zadorov as a third A. I would choke myself to death, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't see how Zadorov gets a third A. I don't. Maybe because he's here long term. He's got 4 more seasons left with his contract.
Yeah, but his NTC runs out, I believe, in the third one, so they can actually move him at some point in the contract. I think in the final 2 years, his contract can start being moved, and I think that's why they also signed Lowry to that deal, because it leads up into their ability to move Zadorov. And they must believe in Lowry in that sense, because I think once that contract is up, Zadorov will not be here. I do not think he will be here long term. I think he's a short term solution.
Yeah, you try to find someone until one of your either one of your defensive prospects turns out to be quality NHL material, or you can get some defenseman on a good contract to bring in.
Yeah, and they might just honestly move Hampus Lindholm down a pair and then elevate Lowry to the first pair with McAvoy. If Lowry can start playing a little bit of better defense and put on a little bit of more muscle, he's a twig, but what have you?
He's a big twig though.
Of that.
He's a big twig. I said he's a big twig. If he puts a little,
his stick is taller than me.
Yep, he's tall. He's tall.
And
if
I'm
he
6'2",
if he beefs up a little bit, he's going to be a problem and learns how to play. I wouldn't say shutdown D, but more defense. I think he's a solid puck carrier, but he's a playmaker. But if he can just lock it down a little bit more on the defensive side, I think he could be a real problem for a lot of players. Right? It's just one of those things in his development that maybe in one of the off seasons he focuses on trying to put up 10, 15 pounds. Just to beef out.
I think you'll see that. I think you'll see that out of him. All right, guys, moving on. We're going to actually save the fan vote points for last. We're going to get in just to talk about our all-time favorite Bruins jersey. And if we want to add on to it, Steve, feel free to add on to your, if you have a preferred logo. I mean, the logo has pretty much been the same for the 100 years. It's gone through minor iterations, but it's typically stayed very similar.
Mm-hmm.
That, but if you actually have your favorite jersey or jerseys of all time, what are you thinking for that? Because we now have way too many to count. They've been changing them every year the past 5 years. It's been hard to keep up.
You ready for the hottest take of all time?
Oh yeah.
Okay. My favorite Bruins jersey of all time is the Pooh Bear.
Oh, come on.
Everybody
really
hates
the yellow Pooh Bear?
The yellow Pooh Bear. I love it. I love it.
Oh.
It's one of my favorites. I think of Jumbo Joe just tearing it up with the Pooh Bear. I love it. And everybody hates on it. Everybody just thinks it's disgusting. But guess what? Everyone loved it when we did it for our the Tahoe series, the third alternate jersey in white.
Yep.
You know what? Everybody loved that logo. I mean, the yellow color, whatever. I still like it, but that's my favorite jersey of all time. Well, yeah,
I think it's the yellow color.
I think the yellow color it did rub people wrong way, but that logo with just the bear face on it. I mean, you've already seen it being used again when they changed it up to the white version and kind of added a little bit more, I guess, texture to it with the black and white. Those are my favorite. I love those jerseys. I mean, those things are sick. But also, I have a special place in my heart with the Winter Classic ones against Montreal, where we got smoked with the old school all black Boston Bruins, old school 1930s logo. I kind of like those a lot.
I didn't mind those. I actually have a Winter Classic jersey for mine. I have two. Mine are more recent than they are historical. I would say. Listen, I actually don't hate the Pooh Bear. The only problem I have with the Pooh Bear is that it looked too cartoony. It looked like too Yogi for me. I don't know what it was. I just didn't get behind it.
Forest fires, baby.
Huh? It didn't feel like a logo. It just. Do you want to know what it was for me, Steve? It didn't feel like a logo. It felt like someone took a Google image and said, yeah, fuck that. We're gonna put that on a jersey and it's gonna look great. And I didn't just like the appeal to it. And this was back in the early 2000s, so Google didn't. Google didn't.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. It just seemed like lazy where they just stitched. They didn't do anything to it to make it look awesome. Like look at the Minnesota Wild. I think is it a tiger or a panther? I can't remember what. But look how they designed that. Like we couldn't do that for a fucking bear. Are you kidding me?
You know what? Now I'm glad you brought up the Minnesota. I think one of the sickest jerseys of all time is the Minnesota dark green with Minnesota written diagonally across, like Minnesota going down. Those were sick. But that's classy, dude. That's classic. Like I love it.
But do you remember like the old Vancouver jerseys where it was just like the V or something like that, or the inverted V, I think it was, and it was just all like really ugly colors? Like I think it was in the 80s. Rick will probably remember it. I hated those. Oh God, like disgusting.
The worst jerseys ever. The Flying V, I think we called it.
Ugh, gross.
Horrible.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
And you know what? I don't even like the Canucks like those 80s colors with the black, red, and yellow. I don't like that.
Me neither.
I like the blue and the white and the green. Like I like.
Well, Vegas basically took that over. You know that, right? Like Vegas's colors are very similar, like except it's gold. Like they have like it's more like gray, red, and gold, but like it's close enough to those colors. But at least they made it work.
Oh yeah, but it also works.
And their logo is sick.
Their logo is pretty sick. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't love the gold ones. I mean, I like them, but I like their their carbon like steel color. I like those, like the darker gray. Like that is, I think that's pretty good. Yeah,
because I thought I would like the gold.
I like the gold and like the red in it, right? It's not an obscene amount of gold, right? It's like a little too flashy. There's just there's the right amount of like color pop on like a darker back.
I have an Eichel gold one, and I thought I would like it, but it's just too glittery for me, and I just can't do it. It's just too much.
Put a gold.
I don't mind. Like
those gold helmets.
The gold helmets are ridiculous. It's like it's like the King's silver helmets. Like I can't do it. God. They're just too refractive off the ice. I feel like my shit's gonna fucked up.
It looks like Notre Dame out there, dude.
I know. At least Notre Dame did it right. I don't know what you want out of me. No, I can't just get by. I just thought the Pooh Bear jersey was just a little lazy. Like they didn't even try to alter it a little bit just to like make it look like badass. It's just like here's a fucking fat bear, and boom, how about that, bitches? It's now on a jersey. Like I felt like it was a little lazy.
All right, what's yours?
I actually really like the 2023 Meth Bear Winter Classic jerseys. Like, from Fenway. Yeah, I'm sorry. The Meth Bear thing just goes hard. I don't know what it is. I like how it also has Boston, and it has like the old-ish like style that's reminiscent of the sweaters from the 1930s, 40s. There. I just like. I personally like it. It's up there for me. The other one. I do, dude. I don't know what it is. Maybe you just
described about the Pooh Bear. That's how I feel about the Meth Bear. Someone just said, "Yeah, fuck it. We're gonna toss out this crazy looking thing and just say fuck you." That's how I feel about it.
It's a coked up bear. Like that shit. Have you ever seen like what was it, Cocaine Bear? Like the freaking movie.
I refuse to watch it.
That's what that's what I think of, dude. But that's what I think of. It's just funny. Let's go.
It's funny and but the thing is, it kind of looks too old for me though. Like it's very much like you said, like 1940s, like just.
I think that's why I like it.
Yeah, but I like that's why I said the 1930s one where it says Bruins on the top in Boston with the bear just like looking one way. Like that's like that kind of reminds me of like those old school, no helmet, barely any pad wear, no no curves to the sticks. Like those, that's the kind of stuff I'm seeing, right? With that one. I don't know, but everything you said about the Pooh Bear, that's how I feel about the Meth Bear.
I don't know. I really wanted one, and I was like, I don't want to spend the money for it. I never got it, and I'm pissed because I'm looking at it now, and I'm just like, damn, I really wish I got that. I don't know. I really like it. I don't know. I actually have what's tied for second for me is one of the white and gold. Or it's more like the off-white. The off-white Centennial jerseys, the one that have the spoked B, but the 1924 on that. Really like that one. I really do. It's just classic, right? It has the spoked B, but it has the 1924. It's got like this off-white
cream color.
Yeah, cream color, and then you got the gold on there, the yellow, whatever you want to do. I really like that one too. The other one, yeah, the other one I really love this one. Do you remember? I mean, it's basically, when they had this, but their alternate jerseys in the 2010s, the all black with the Bruins shield on it with the freaking bear, like the whole bear. Yeah, that one slapped. I actually gave that one of my. Was it? What did I get? Was it? I think it was my Bergeron, my Bergeron jersey, and I gave it to Cookie, and he still has it. I'm like, can I have that fucking back, dude? I'm like, I really like that jersey.
No, that was a top one for me too. I do like that because it was all black, but the yellow in it or the gold in it popped out so much where it was just a little bit of gold that just made it all like cut together. I really like that one. But hot take, I hate the new logo right now. The reason why I hate it is because it seems like the quote unquote blast from the past from the 1970s. It's just the 1970s logo. And that's like kind of not what I'm feeling. Like this team is
the 1980s logo.
Yeah, like this is not the big bad Bruins, right? This is a much different team, and it's like the game has developed away from that type of stuff, right? Although there's an argument to say that those big bad teams do win Stanley Cups lately, so it goes, it goes back and forth. But at the end of the day, that this logo, I saw the pictures of the ice, them, doing the Garden, with the logo on it. I'm just like, I'm not a fan right now. Like it just does not look that good. It just
I like it. I hate it on the all black jersey, but the all whites. Okay, that sounds really bad, but like it looks clean. It looks clean on the away jerseys.
The gold blends into the white when you're watching it on TV. Like you can't really tell. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work for me. It's just not aesthetically pleasing to me. And I'm just watching it and like I'm looking at these pictures getting pissed off. Like I'm just like, you're really rolling this out and this team looks like this. I'm not really a fan right now. Like I'm
when
not
we do
really
live streams together. When we do live streams together, if there's ever an away game, you're like, I can't freaking do this goose. I can't even see them. I only see the puck. It looks like everyone goes to moving the puck.
Yep, exactly. The only thing that you can see is their black pants. That's it. Like that's just it. Like it I don't know. It just is what it is. It's just not aesthetically pleasing to me, and there's that.
It's basically up there with you. You got to bring the black and yellow seats back to the Garden, right? Like that's how you feel about it. Like,
dude, don't even get me started about the seating at the Garden. Please don't get me started because we haven't won anything in there. Celtics finally won, but we've lost game 7s there when they changed the seating. Bring the yellow seats back. Okay. And you know what, Jeremy Jacobs, if you're listening, okay, you're charging way too much money for the goddamn seats. And now I'm crammed into a row. Listen, I'm a big dude. Okay. Those seats ain't comfortable. Go back to the yellow. They were much more comfortable. And stop worrying about your bottom dollar. The Bruins will make the playoffs eventually, and you can get your 2 extra paydays, and you can go be happy like you were in the 1980s when we went deep cup.
Dude, that's all profit.
Your extra money.
Are you kidding me? That's all profit to the organization. Who you?
I know. That's why they did it, and that's why it hurts, dude. And that's why it hurts. Like I hate going to these. I hate going to the Garden and being crammed in there. The seats aren't comfortable. There's people on top of each other. I'm over it. Like at this point, I'd rather not spend the money. It's just not worth it. I'd rather watch it.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
That was your wonderful rant. Wow. I love how you it around the whole fact that like I'm a big fucking dude. I need this space. What's your problem? That's where you went with it. Like it had nothing else to do with just...
This is America. Most of us here are big, okay?
Hey, speak for yourself. I'm down like 2 pounds.
Congratulations. You're not drinking
Probably
water
up 10 from all the food I ate today. It was kind of ridiculous, buddy. Oh god. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for our final segment of the night before we before we get out of here, and then we'll give you a preview of what's coming up next for HiBruiNation over the next couple of weeks in our little schedule here. We're going to go over the fan polls that we listed on our Twitter. So if you guys don't follow us on Twitter, follow us at HiBruiNation pod on Twitter, where we run some polls. We want to get to know you guys a little bit, and see what everyone else is thinking and see if they're just as crazy as we are. Turns out, at least on the defensive side, you guys are batshit compared to us. But that's fine. But the forward group we pretty much all align on. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you listening, I'll describe the graphics as I put them up. For those of you watching on YouTube, just continue to watch and deal with it. Looking at these, so we posted these polls line by line, on what
projected line by line.
Yeah, projected line by line, who we believe is going to play on what line specifically. So we will definitely understand if you think certain players were going to be above a line, below a line, what have you. We understand that voting, and we took that into account. But it seems like pretty much everyone on the forward group agrees with, Steve, Whitey, and I, except for Tanner Jeannot. Whitey is still convinced he's going to score 55 points.
Unbelievable.
What was it? Over under 20, 21 and a half
21
goals?
and a half goals. 21 and
Right?
a half goals. Yeah.
What's his punishment going to be again if he gets that wrong? We got to figure that out.
We got to figure that out. He needs a punishment. He needs a punishment for even thinking that. Okay. He's only scored, I think, my grandmother would say.
I swear, if he gets 22 goals, I'll buy a jersey. I'll do it.
You heard it here first. If he scores 22 goals, you're gonna find me dead in the Chicago River. Okay, there's no way he's scoring 22 goals. There's no way.
He's gonna get to 21, dude. You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna be an empty netter. It's gonna be a freaking empty netter that gets it over the 22, and you and I are just gonna be like, dude, what the fuck?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Oh god. All right. Well, for line one, the fans seem to agree that both Morgan Geekie and Elias Lindholm are going to score between 50 and 60 points this season. And of course, David Pastrnak is going to get 71 plus. I think that's pretty fair, right, Steve? I would actually agree with that.
Again, this is your top line. This is the line that only produced last year, pretty much. And yep. I think this is a very fair estimate on where we put these guys for line.
I do have Lindholm between 61 and 70, but that's just off of a rebound year. I think that he's going to be hell determined to do. In line two, we have Zacha, Casey Middlestat, and Victor Arvidsson, because we traded for him for, I don't know why, but we got him. Actually, I'm not going to complain about having Victor Arvidsson. He shoots the damn puck, which is like the one thing I wish they did all last season was shoot the freaking puck. So I can't complain. But it seems like the fans agree that both Zacha and Casey Middlestat are going to score between 45 and 55 points. That's about where I have them.
I think it's fair.
Pretty fair. And then Victor Arvidsson is the guy that's going to score 35 to 45. I actually can see that.
You know what? I actually have him up a little bit higher. I think around 50. Just because of what you said, that he shoots the puck. And I'm hoping that one of his two line mates can just get some garbage goals and, get a rebound and just capitalize on some rebounds and up close nasty hockey down in the offensive zone. And of course, those will be, primary assists if he shoots the puck a lot. But I'm not totally expecting a lot of goals out of this guy, but he does shoot. So you guys need to crash the net and clean up some garbage in front of the net. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him scoring upwards of 50, but 50 is at most where I have him. I could see him definitely getting 45 for sure because he can, but I also see him alternating between second and third line. But I have him at the second line because I don't think Poitras or Lysell is going to outplay him for that. No. Maybe they do, but if anything, I think Poitras would play center on that line. I don't think he would play wing. For line three, both Fraser Minton and Poitras, the fans agreed that they are between 35 and 45 points, about the same range as Mr. Victor Arvidsson. Like I think it's valid.
Yeah.
I see them on the higher end of that. I definitely see them on the closer to the 45 than I do the 35.
That's funny because I see him more on the 35, closer to 35. I just don't know what this man's capable of, And again, it's just one of those things where the only line that produced last year was the line one, and I don't know what these guys are capable of, and they're third lines, right? Like it's hard to say for these guys. I think 35 to 40 is a good spot for him.
One of them I think is going to be closer to 40. Maybe not. I shouldn't say both of them, but I think Poitras is going to be the one that's closer to 45 than I think the rest of them.
Yeah, if he gets decent playing time.
I can see Pot, and the only reason why I have him on that is because I also think Poitras will spend time on the second line too. I think you will see him there definitely for sure with the way he tore up the AHL last season. Like the guy is hellbent, he's determined. That's why I have him there. And then obviously the third member of that third line in Tanner Jeannot. A lot of fans have him getting 20 to 30 points. I will agree because I think it will be the other two players on that line that give him those points. They're going to be off of assists. Most of them will probably be secondary. Or because he forgot the puck somewhere and Fraser Minten picked it up and scored a goal. I don't know. One of those things is going to happen. So I can agree that Fraser Minten's going to get 20 to 30 points.
Yeah.
If he's lucky.
Yeah, if he's lucky.
And line 4, we had Eyssimont and Kuraly both getting 11 to 20 points, which is fair. I could see Kuraly getting a little bit more between the 20 to 30 range if he plays up on the third line and if he can just get back to who he was. But I actually think his ceiling is between 11 to 20. But I could see 21 to 30 possible, but being on the lower end of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kuraly, I think it's fair to say Kuraly, if he's stuck on the fourth line, it's 11 or 20, maybe a 25 cap. It is what it is. But it's another center that you can have, and in a pinch, in a pinch, he can be serviceable to if he's on power play 2 or whatnot, winning some faceoffs and doing what he needs to do, right? Like he's serviceable in that aspect. He can win faceoffs. I know that. It's just
big penalty killer too.
Big penalty killer, exactly. And even if he's on PK2, that works. I mean, Bruins are known for scoring on the PK, right? I mean, they can do it
with Brad Marchand, but
yeah, but
we don't have that.
We don't have that. But who's to say someone else can't step up and Kuraly gets picks up the puck and dishes it off wide. Like we just don't know at the end of the day. But people, we can get lucky. We can pray to get lucky. But at the end of the day, 25 cap for this guy.
Sure. Kostelic was interesting because he actually in the polling had a two-way tie for between 11 to 20 and 21 to 30. So I gave him the range of 11 to 30 because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to break this. I'm not going to do the vote again. So I think 25 could be a possibility for him because there are rumors either him or Kuraly will be centering the third line. There's a whole bunch of speculation because no one knows what the bottom 6 of this team is going to look like. Everyone knows that you're going to have Geeky, Elias Lindholm, and Pastrnak. Zacha and Casey, those are going to be 5 of your top 6 forwards. Arvidsson could play up and down. It depends. So there's still questions on your bottom 6 on what that is going to shape up to be. I again, 25 is his ceiling, I think, but I don't see him scoring much more than that.
It's kind of crazy to me because I think he did put on a good performance last year when we had him, right? Like, I think he plays hard. I think he can be a guy that is a supporting role and get some gritty goals, right? Like, I think, but I also think he can contribute to the play and get something happening. It's tough. It's tough, you know. I think he did
when he's not in the
well.
box.
Yeah,
When
it's
he's not in the
just
box, yeah.
well,
Because he scored 14 points in 61 games. I could see him getting up to 20. But
yeah.
25, I think, is
He
his.
needs to stay out of the box. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
the entire Bruins organization right now needs to stay out of the box. And you know, we ran into penalty trouble all last season, which obviously doesn't fare well with any sort of playing, right? I mean, how many goals did we give up on a PK last year? It was up there.
Right. I genuinely think though this fourth line will be, it's big. It might be dynamite because Kostelic is big, but he can score. Corrali's a good facilitator. Like it is. I think it's a good fourth line. I think that's a good fourth line.
I think it's a solid.
I think it's missing a little bit of speed, but maybe you put Kostelic into the center, and then maybe you put a Lysell or a Minton or a Poitras there just to get you some speed and get you into the offensive zone a bit. But typically, that's not what fourth lines do. But I think it's a decent fourth line you got there. AC Mont's no schmuck. Like he's pretty solid. I think it's a solid fourth line.
Yeah, I mean, I
your
think
top
it's solid.
line and your top and fourth lines I think are decent enough. I think it's your middle six that are going to struggle, but also the identity of your bottom six is in question because they're going to try and find what works.
Well, and also it's going to be we know that I'm assuming that lines 2, 3, and 4 are going to be juggled up all the time, and there's not going to be any real consistency with that. I mean, if it's projected like we have, and that's what they roll out with, I think that's a solid fourth line, right? But I think just with all the line juggling that's going to happen, you know, I can see it now. I can see it now. Getting flashbacks from when Monty was coaching, and you know, we first period we roll out with these lines, second period we roll out with version 2, and then third period we roll out with version 3. I don't know if that's Sturm's style, but at the end of the day, I think we need to figure out what lines are working through a course of 5 games or whatnot, and kind of see what's you need time, right? Like there's a lot of new guys on this team. We need to figure out who's got chemistry with each other, who's working together well, and who's not working together well, and how do we fit all these guys in the lineup. So I think there's going to be a lot of line juggling, but it needs time. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where time isn't on your side.
Nope.
It's the situation you're in.
But fans, good job on the polling. I think you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head. I mean, they're solid ranges, I would say. Reasonable expectations. Let's look at the defense. It's all over the place.
It is. It really is.
Your first pairing is Hampus Lindholm and Charlie McAvoy. Like, yeah, we understand that there's a likelihood that Lowry could play with McAvoy. I think that is a high likelihood. It worked a lot in the playoffs when they were matched up together. The only question is, where do you put Hampus Lindholm and how do you maneuver Nikita Zadorov? So that's the big question. To no one's surprise, on line 1, or for your first defensive pair, you have Hampus and both Charlie McAvoy getting 41 plus. I don't necessarily disagree with that, because I think the Bruins play their best hockey when they work their low to high game, and then they get the defense involved. My question is, I don't think that both of them can necessarily do that, and I think a lot of those points that get them to that would come from the power play. That's where I think those points are going to come from if they both hit 41 plus.
Yeah, I mean,
one of them might just miss it.
I think honestly, Lindholm's going to be the one to miss it out of the two. I think McAvoy's pretty solid up there. I mean, you're going to need him to facilitate some sort of defense to offense transition, right? Like, and you can get a lot of secondhand assists off that and build your points up that way. But I think out of all of them, I really think Lindholm is going to be the one to miss it. I'm just because he needs to stay healthy. He needs to stay healthy as well. I mean, if he does get hurt again or misses a significant amount of games due to whatever, I can see Lori getting bumped up and playing top four. I think Lori is a top four D man as it is.
In the making, I think he will be. I don't think he is just yet, but he will be.
I think
give him another year or two.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I think he's top four in the sense that he's a fourth guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be a top three D man on a team. I think he's a functional top four, as in the
right
fourth
now.
Guy. Yeah,
I think he could be a top three as soon as he develops.
Yeah, he has a little bit more developing to do, in my opinion. But he does have offensive capabilities, and he's I like watching him play. I mean, he's actually one of the few Bruins I found enjoyable to watch last season.
Yep. A quick tidbit on Hampus Lindholm. I think he'll also miss the 41 plus too, because the only year that he scored more than 40 points was in the 2022-2023 season when he had 53. And that team was loaded.
Yep.
He was on pace probably for about 40 this past season until he was injured. He had 7 points in 17 games, so he started off very strong. However, I think that would have tapered off eventually. So I think if anything, it would be him. I think Matt, again, it's one or the other. You're not going to get both of them, I think, to score 41 plus points. You will get one or the other.
Yep.
That's because one of them's got to play defense at some point. Line 2 is Zadorov and Henry Jokiharju. I was very surprised for fans to think that Zadorov is going to score more points than Henry Jokiharju.
Yeah.
Fans have Zadorov making between 21 and 30, and then Jokiharju between 10 and 20. I would have reversed that.
I mean, me too. Like, just because of the way that their play style is.
Yeah. I feel like Jokiharju is a puck mover. I don't want Zadorov to pinch down the boards. If Zadorov is pinching down the boards, we have defensive problems.
Yeah.
I think he will get a lot of assists. Yes. I listen, and I'm not trying to knock Zadorov's defensive abilities, because in the tail end of the season, he really cleaned it up. He became a lot better. I'm very excited to see what he and Jokiharju accomplish, because last year I stood firm to believe that Jokiharju was the best goddamn thing to happen to Zadorov.
You could tell. I mean, they're right. Like, oh, if you hit the lottery, there'd be signs, right? There was clear signs that Zadorov cleaned up his play and cleaned up his abilities on the ice, knowing that he can be a more of a stay-home defenseman and allow his D partner to be the puck mover and generate a little bit more offense, right? It comes down to what roles these guys are playing. And again, I couldn't agree more that I would have these reversed. I genuinely think that Zadorov is going to be between 10 and 20. I mean, he'll probably pot in 3-4 goals, because he does have a slap shot that is kind of ferocious. But at the end of the day, his slap shot can get down if he keeps it low enough, get tips, and get rebound goals for the offense, right? It's just one of those things where a lot can happen, but I don't see him getting 25, 30 points. It's just, I don't see it.
his highest was 22, and it was it was a tie. Like, he scored 22 points in 2021, 2022. He scored 22 points this past season. I just don't see you brought him in to be a shutdown defenseman, and I want him to be that. And it's the same argument, with Hampus and McAvoy. If you're gonna have, you can't have both of them have 41 points, between 21 and 30 points. I mean, maybe you could for the second pair, but one of them's got to play defense. And I don't think Yoki Haru is the guy you want to play defense. I think Zadorov is the guy you want playing deep. I mean, obviously you want a defenseman to play defense, but if you're going to rely on someone to pinch, I want Yoki Haru to pinch. I don't want Zadorov to pinch. I would much rather McAvoy probably pinch than Hampus Lindholm just because of his speed. I would much rather that. McAvoy also has some offensive ability. He also has a great defensive ability. He's a top 10, I think, defenseman in the league.
Yeah.
But
it also comes down to roles playing, right? Like the thing I'm
Yep.
talking about, especially with defense, because on the power play and the penalty kill, it becomes different, right? I mean, the way I'm seeing it this season is McAvoy Lindholm and Lohrei will probably be out there for power play 1 unit, right? Like, those are the guys. I wouldn't be shocked to see, McAvoy and Lohrei out there as power play 1. But for PK 1, I'm going to put, McAvoy and Zadorov out there. It's, I think because it comes down to size and blocking shots and being able to take space away and holding, again, historically, the Bruins have been very good at PKs. Historically.
But then, I don't know. I trust Andrew Peeke on the PK. I don't know if I like Henry Yoki Haru. Yoki Haru is on PK 3.
I mean, I don't think he's on anything. I don't think he's even in consideration for PK 1 or PK 2, if I'm being honest.
It depends if they have a forward that can play on the defensive side of that puck. But I digress. Yes, you're right. But yeah, I don't know. I would have definitely reversed Yuki Haru and Zadorov. And I agree with you that it is a role. I think it's also a role-based game. I think it's also a hockey IQ-based game. But again, if a puck is on the boards, and if I wanted a defenseman to pinch, Zadorov's not the person I want to pinch. He's the person I want to hammer the guy who's going towards Jeremy Swayman. He's the guy I want back with his long reach and his big-ass body to absolutely knock somebody down.
Yep.
That's what I want.
Chaos and get in front and block a shot or something like that, right? It comes down to that. You're absolutely right. I would rather Yogi Haru pinch on the boards. I would rather McAvoy pinch on the boards. I'd rather Lohrei pinch on the boards, right? These are the guys that you kind of have to assume are going to be in those types of more offensive roles. Now,
mind you, obviously if the puck is 2 feet in front of Zadorov and he pinches, that's fine. I'm talking about if it's at the midway point near the hash marks and there's no one around it, but it's a skating pinch battle.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. If it's a deep pinch, I'm not. Yeah. It's a deep pinch. I'm not doing it, but I'm not going to beat this thing till, we're blue in the face and we'll move on to line 3 and or the third defensive pairing in being Lohrei and Andrew Peeke. I thought fans, voted fairly for Lohrei if he was playing on the first pairing. I don't mind having him between 31 and 40 points because he did have 33 last year. But he was also a big minus.
Yep.
And I think he could get it. I see Lohrei being the only defenseman that moves up and down the pairings. Unless there is an injury, but my God, please, can we just have a healthy defense for 4 months? Just give it to me for 4 months. Just please.
Just give it to me for the whole season, please. I don't think that's too much to ask for.
Well, that might be too much to ask, but just give it to me for at least 4 months, dude. Just give me 4 months of a healthy defense, and then we can have an injury. And that's Boston's Achilles heel right now, is that if any one of these defensemen go down, or I'm sorry, We could probably survive Hampus Lindholm going down. We could probably survive that. We could survive Nikita Zadorov going down. We could survive Lowry going down. We could survive Yoki Haru. We could survive Peak. I think if McAvoy goes down, oof. Your right defense is not deep.
Nope. Not at all.
At least not. I don't think Yogi Haru could replace McAvoy. So it gets complicated.
I don't think he could either. And that's the unfortunate part of it, right? Like if McAvoy gets hurt again, it's going to be a clear issue on the defensive side. I mean, going back to Lowry's point.
I'm sorry. I'll preface it with this. For an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Like
if it's a 1-game, 3-game scratch, it's okay. It's serviceable. But if he goes down for a month and a half, 2 months, or a month, it's going to be noticed in the lineup.
Yeah. The right side is not that. Now, could Henry Yoki Haru step up? Yeah. Anyone could step up. But I'm just looking at the likelihood of that happening. It's not. Yeah. And the other person on that line being Andrew Peak for the third defensive pairing. Fans had him at 11 to 20 points. Again, I think that's pretty fair. I think he's on the lower end of that. I think he's closer to 11 than he is to 20. I think that's fine. Again, he's not someone I really want to score points. He's someone I want to see bury someone into the glass.
Well,
like
I think your point with this is like he was hired for his defensive capabilities, not his offensive capabilities, and that's clear. You know what I mean? Like he has a role out there, and his role is defense. He's a. Would you say he's a shutdown defenseman?
I would just call him like he's a good third pair guy. Yeah, I don't want to call him like he's not like Nikita Zadorov, who I could be like, I need you to go and shut down this. But I like, you know what I mean? He doesn't give me that vibe. He plays like a solid third pair guy.
Mm-hmm.
Could elevate to the second second pair, but wouldn't be for long.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't. He's not like a McAvoy for me. He's not like a Zadorov. He's not. Yeah. He's serviceable. He's definitely not a shutdown defenseman. I look at him as a defensive defenseman.
Yeah, I think that's a better. I think that's a better classification for him. He's a defensive defenseman, which, again, you're a third pair guy. Okay, just go out there and shut him down. Just be a defense and get the puck out to your forwards and go let them do what they need to do.
You know who I think about as a shutdown defenseman for comparisons for people who are wondering what I think of as a shutdown guy? Brent Burns, Drew Doughty, those guys. Probably Gustav Forsling, those guys. Yeah, you know, people who will Roman Josi, like people like them that don't give a flying fuck about a point on the ice, whether or not they touch the puck. They just care that you don't enter the zone with the puck. Yep. Those are the guys that I look at and be like, those are like shutdown guys. Not a guy like Quinn Hughes who will skate the puck up or Cale Makar. None of those guys that I don't see. Like, you know, I'd laugh and say Darnell Nurse, but he's more allergic to the puck than just doesn't want to touch it. So,
yeah. But he's serviceable too.
Yeah, his $9.5 million contract, that's going to be the reason why McDavid leaves Edmonton. Yeah, that's very serviceable. Serviceable in the sense that they're going to fuck that team over.
No, he's serviceable, but not at the cost that they get him. You know what I mean? And that's that's responsible for the GM. The GM is responsible for their contract issues. And look, that's what it is.
Also, and with these rankings, with these defensive rankings, the only one that I really have I wouldn't say any, but like a lot of fans probably had in their minds that at least on the left side, people are going to be moving around. Like maybe the Bruins put Zadorov on the third pairing. Maybe they put Lowry on the first, where they could move that. So I see where some of these point totals are coming from. But I just thought the fans were all over the place with this and just being like, we don't know what the defense is going to look like. But I'm more than confident that this is what it'll look like.
I agree, but at the same time, I find it downright disrespectful that you're putting your top 4 defensemen in the 10 to 20 category, like
Well,
with more of the offensive side. I mean, he's going to have more playing time. He's going to have more opportunity with the top line guys or the top 6 guys to make a difference into the lineup. You know, I think to be honest with you, my second pair D-men need to put up 25 to 30 points to make a cup run. Like that's where I put these guys. Like, I'm not saying that these guys are capable of it, but at the same time, if you're getting the more playing time and the more opportunity with the better guys like the David Pastrnaks, you should be able to feed him a puck, and he can go.
I'm saying 21 to 30 for the second pair guys.
Okay.
Mainly because I'm thinking of like, you know, the third, like, all right, if we think about it in like, you know, from 1 through 6, right? Your number 1 defenseman should easily be getting 45 to 55, I think, personally. If you have a true number 1 defenseman, 45 to 55 is a solid number. I think so. Your number 2, probably a ceiling at 45, and it kind of goes down, and like, you know, you're thinking about maybe 35 for your third pair, maybe 35 to 40 or something like that. But then your fourth guy, you're looking at like, okay, maybe like 20 to 32 or something like that. Like, you know, you can't have all of these scoring D-men, you know what I mean? And again, these are just fake numbers, guys. I'm not like actually being serious. Like, oh yeah, I expect like, you know, 55 points from McAvoy every season. That's not going to happen. It also depends on the playing style of the player themselves too. But I agree to put Yoki Haru, and maybe it's because he's from Buffalo. But honestly, guys, he's from Buffalo.
That's a good thing.
He's from Buffalo. That's a good thing.
That's a really good thing.
Do you have any idea what I would kill to have? And I would take any fourth line Buffalo player might turn themselves into a top 6 4. I'm not like, obviously I'm exaggerating, but look what happens when Buffalo trades away their talent. They trade away Jack Eichel, goes and wins a cup next year. Trade away Sam Reinhart and Kyle Okposo. They go and win cups with Florida. Like, are you serious? I was honestly like, when they traded away Dylan Cousins, watch out for Ottawa this year. Who knows if they go and win a cup? God, if Buffalo goes on a fire sale, I'm first in line.
Yep, because they have talent. They just don't have the management or the coaching.
Yeah,
to get them where they need to be. That's the end of story right there. Their management is terrible and their coaching is not great. But they have talent on the team, and when they go to different teams, they really do excel. I'm not saying that every player from Buffalo goes and excels, but there are clear names and there's clear historical record of people leaving Buffalo and going on and having very successful careers.
Yeah, and he's only 26. He's 26 years old. He was drafted first round, 29th overall. He played for Buffalo. Like, could that have, well, he was drafted by Chicago and then he was, you know, whatever. But like, then he went to Buffalo. Buffalo could have ruined him. But now you're looking at the Boston Bruins, who have historically had strong defenses. And I mean, if you look at Lindholm, you look at McAvoy, you look at Zadorov, they're pretty good defensemen. They're gonna develop this kid.
Yeah.
And if you look at Lowry's a twig in what he's capable of. Like, I'm more than convinced Henry Jokiharju. I'm not saying he's gonna be Bob Orr. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be better than McAvoy. That's not gonna happen. No. But put a little bit of more faith, I think, in Jokiharju.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Put a little bit more faith in that.
Yep, I agree. A little bit more faith is needed because, again, the Bruins know how to develop defensemen. It's very clear.
Goaltending too. Goaltenders too.
Yeah, for the most part, I'd agree. But they're very good at developing D-men, and especially when you get a young kid like that who has I would say he has a lot of upside on him. I wouldn't say a lot. I would say he has upside. I think that's a confident sentence I could say with confidence. It's just he is an upside, and if they give, who knows what he was doing on the offseason too. He could have been doing development stuff. especially with the Bruins system on how they do things, right? There's a lot of things that can go right for this kid.
Yep. You're not going to get an argument out of me there. And again, he was traded to Boston mid-season. It's not easy for a player to join mid-season at the trade deadline and be completely familiar with the system. And people will say it's hockey, it's not like football, or it's not like X, Y, and Z, but still, certain systems play certain ways. Like there's roles that you have to understand and play on too. So, and he was a +7 in 18 games played here. That's pretty damn good. Again, he also had to play on the top line, or on the top pair. He scored 4 points in 18 games. It's pretty solid for a guy who's probably a number 3 at best.
Well, when you think about it too,
You know?
when we talk about,
I don't know. Those are my thoughts on it. That's the only one I think y'all are crazy on.
yeah, agreed. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's just more about the systems. I think the systems, it's hockey. There's a few systems that play, and you got to get used to it. But I think chemistry is more important in hockey. Getting used to your defensive partner, building up that communication and chemistry, getting used to your forwards that you normally play with, where they're going to be, how they move. I think it's a chemistry thing, not necessarily a system thing. And once you can develop more chemistry with your D pair, then there's more upside with that. And I ask any player that gets traded midseason, it's a very hard transition to get used to a new team on how they play with forechecking and backchecking and their roles with that. I mean, forechecking and backchecking are clearly defined in what they are, right? But at the same time,
one's for, one's back.
Well, but it's not even just that. David Pastrnak doesn't really backcheck.
Nope. Well, okay. First of all, real quick on that, I don't put David Pastrnak to go on the ice to backcheck. I want him on the ice to score.
But that's what I'm saying, though, because that also means there's a guy that's not covered by a Boston Bruin on the ice on a 5-on-5 situation. So those are the little things that you need to get used to. Like those are little things that do make a big impact. That's what it is. If Patrice Bergeron, one of the all-time greatest two-way forwards, he backchecked like a motherfucker and caused and helped out the defense and bailed them out a lot by picking up another guy that they didn't see that was much faster than a Zdeno Chara, right? Mm-hmm. That's the system, and that's the chemistry that we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's knowing who your teammates are and how they play, and picking up on that in 18 games is really hard to do. You don't go through a training camp with these guys. You don't go through Habs practice with these guys. You don't go through a preseason with these guys, and it gives you the exposure to seeing how everybody moves on the ice. So any player that gets traded mid-season or at the trade deadline, it's a very hard thing to go through.
I'm also going to be the biggest defender of Yoki Haru that anyone's ever seen, because in 23-24, he had a +14 on a very bad Buffalo Sabres team. +14 on that team. I'm respecting that. A lot of people won't give plus-minus thing, but when you're the Buffalo Sabres and you haven't made the playoffs in 15 years, and you have a defenseman that spends a lot of 18 minutes on the time on ice on average, and he's still a +14 on that team, you got to respect him. I think Buffalo might have gave up on that kid way too early, and they went and got Michael Kesselring. I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger.
Having on a bad Buffalo Sabres team, having anything more than a +10 is a good sign.
You're a superstar.
I mean, for Buffalo,
the only reason why any Buffalo player got invited to the NHL All-Star game was because it was mandatory that one player from each team has to make it.
Exactly.
They would have said no to them. No, but I'm only kidding. Anyway,
we're not though.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for episode 44. We're going to actually return back to our weekly schedule this week. We missed talking hockey. There's going to be so many things coming up. There's going to be so much to talk about. There's going to be so much to discuss leading up to the 2025-2026 season, especially when preseason starts, once training camp goes, once the prospects challenges begin. We're going to have a lot to talk about, a lot of hockey. Hockey is officially back. It started with captain's practice. The Bruins Fan Fest was absolutely amazing. We're going to have so much content for you guys. We're actually also going to start talking about the AHL Providence Bruins as well, as we are going to start watching those games. We're going to pay definitely a lot more attention to college hockey now, as that's going to start with James Higgins, William Moore, and a lot more as our future for the Bruins hopefully gets brighter. Right now it's a little doom and gloom. I'm not going to lie to you. James Higgins is that bright light. At least we hope he is. But we also need to rebuild that farm system a bit more, and hopefully Sweeney recognizes that as well. But guys, please stay tuned. Steve, thank you as always for joining, and one of my wonderful co-hosts. Whitey, fuck you for missing this week, but we can't wait to see you next week, and hopefully you have another crazy-ass take, like, I don't know, maybe Wayne Gretzky coming out of retirement or some stupid shit like that. But we look forward to more. Don't forget to like, subscribe to us, follow us on all of our social media. We're on TikTok. We are on Twitter. We are on Bluesky. We are on Instagram. We are on freaking everything, people. So don't forget to go like us and give us a follow and chat with us as you want. Also, read our blogs on don'tpuckwithmedia.com. Steve, any final thoughts before I hit the closeout button?
No, I think we've said enough.
No. Fucking good night. Good night, everybody, and go Bruins.
Good night, go Bruins.